It's time to lead the way. Let us show you how to reach your fitness goals once and for all. We aren't going to just show you the way. We are going to lead the way.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's Coach Sal with the Lead the Way Fit podcast. And today, a very special person is joining me. Her name is Lori. Now, her last name has just changed because she is officially married. And I always I butcher this. It's Marchetti?
Marchetti.
I butchered it at the wedding and I'm butchering it here. Look at that. So Lori, thank you so much for joining me on this podcast. I've been looking forward to making this happen. I'm glad we had the chance to reschedule this and get this done. How's your day going?
Very good.
Awesome. So Lori, first and foremost, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? What it was like growing up for you in terms of, did you grow up in a healthy zone? Like, were your parents health freaks, or was that not even a part of the picture? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
No, my parents both worked. They got married at 17.
Wow.
So they had me like a year later, and then 1, 2, 3 children, one after the other. So my mom had 3 little ones. So they were both working, and then we moved to San Gabriel. I think when I was in, the second grade, and then I grew up in the city of San Gabriel.
Okay.
Both my parents are really thin, so when I was little, I think I started to gain weight like when I was after 12. So I had a little weight problem, but not that bad. So, they weren't health freaks or anything like that. So.
What, you guys cook a lot at home? Do you eat fast food, takeout?
My dad would come home around 3. So he also worked for Pillsbury. So we had donuts and things that he would bring home. But other than that, my dad would cook up. He would do the cooking at home because my mom worked nights.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. What did your mom do?
Mm-hmm. She was an accountant for Kmart.
Okay. What habits did you pick up from your parents growing up? Because I know you have a son, correct? Just one son?
Yes.
And so what was that like raising you? Your son's older now. I think he's well into his 20s, correct?
Yeah, he's in his 20s, yes.
Okay. So what was that like? What habits did you pick up raising your sons that you noticed you picked up from your parents growing up? Did you cook at home, or and being a single mom, or what was that like for you?
Yeah, I cooked a lot at home. And then, every now and then, of course, you would always take your kids to McDonald's. So stuff like that.
I definitely
and then I was worried about his weight too, because he weighed like 9 pounds when he was born. So
healthy.
Yeah, he was a healthy boy. So yeah, I was worried about his weight all the time with the doctor and stuff like that. Always making sure he wasn't overweight and he was, right where he should be at each time you took your child in for checkups.
I hear you throwing around weight a lot. You said you started to struggle with weight at a young age. Have you always struggled with weight issues, or is that why you got into fitness? Or why?
I think so. And that's why I just, I started working out and doing things and stuff like that. And then I think it was 1999 when I got diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis and fibromyalgia. So I started on like prednisone and all this stuff. And then just the weight kept coming on and all that. And then when I knew I had to have knee surgery, the doctor said, you have to lose at least 20 pounds before we even do a surgery. So by that time I was on 60 milligrams of prednisone, and I was up to like 350 pounds.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So did the doctors tell you that prednisone could cause you to gain weight?
They said, yeah, it would cause you to gain weight, but they didn't tell me that it completely stops your metabolism. Even if you dieted, even if you ate less, you were still going to gain the weight. There was no And then I was like, okay, finally I got to the point where like there has to be something better than this, than just being overweight and having trouble moving and doing stuff. So I said, like, can I get off the prednisone? So they said, well, yeah, after you have your surgery, let's see if we can get you off the prednisone. So they started to wean me off of it. And then I said, and at that point, you have, I guess from the prednisone, there was a lot of cravings. So I used to drink like 3 liters of soda a day. Not eating healthy, eating chips, doing whatever. And then I just said, you know what? I got to change the way I eat. I got to change my doing exercise, like walking and swimming were the first 2 things that I started to do. And then I started to I said, okay, I cut the soda out and went to the diet soda. Then from the diet soda, I just stopped drinking soda completely and just water. And each time I said, okay, I'm going to give up tortillas. And then the next week, chips and whatever I thought that was unhealthy for me. And then I moved from doing the aqua to walking to start to do Zumba. And then I saw the weight coming off. I weighed 2 pounds, 3 pounds, 5 pounds until, I started just keep doing my fitness journey.
Was this before the knee surgery or after?
I lost 20 pounds before the knee surgery, like the doctor asked. And then after the surgery, he asked me, like, what do you want to do? Do you want to go to therapy? Do you want the therapist to come home? And I said, okay, I'll wait. I'll have the therapist come at home. And that's when we started to do more things. And then I asked about how can I rehabilitate myself? And he said, you can use the pool. For all my knee surgeries, I did my own rehab.
Oh, wow. Rock and roll.
Yeah.
And so it's when you started, so you lost 20 pounds prior to the knee surgery so you could get the knee surgery. Then you started doing your own rehab, but you started seeing consistent weight loss as you started to change the way you ate, became more active. And then as you would lose weight, you started increasing your activity little by little.
Yes.
You became Lori, the Zumba queen. How long were you doing Zumba for?
I think it was like maybe 4 years. Like I said, I started boot camp at another gym, and then I was going there for like, I say a year, and then the pandemic happened. And then they closed down, and they tried to do classes via Zoom and all that, but it just eventually fell apart.
So they just stopped doing it, or just it wasn't able to?
Yeah, I guess they couldn't get enough clients to continue or whatever, so they just said that they were closing their doors and they weren't going to do any more online sessions or anything like that.
That was definitely a hard time for gyms, a hard time for everybody, but gyms definitely took a big hit.
Yeah.
And then you found us. Well, how did you hear about us?
I saw advertisement on Facebook, and then I texting back and forth to Mark, and then he came back to me later, and I think it was in July, and he said, well, we're having a special for 30 days. Do you want to come and try us? And I'm all like, okay, I'll try it for 30 days. And then I ended up liking it, and I stayed.
What about the gym did you like? What about the sessions, or what made you stay?
I think just everybody, the coaches, the members, everybody was very welcoming, very helpful, there to support you no matter what. I mean, it was just a great environment to be in.
You have, so like you said, you have RA, you have rheumatoid arthritis. I know that you've had surgery on your knees, both knees, correct?
Yes, both knees.
Okay, and then recently you had surgery on your hands and your elbow, correct? Or was it just your hand?
Since I was the age 12 until like now, I had 16 surgeries. I had hernia repair, I had knee replacements, a ruptured patella that I had to repair. I had 2 stomach surgeries where my intestines twisted, and they had to go in and repair that. I had elbow surgery. My elbow is completely damaged. There's no surgery for that, but I just keep exercising, and just all these doctors tell me is exercise, therapy and exercise.
So being that you've had these challenges and I've witnessed your journey since you've been with us, you've been immobile at times, well, not immobile, but you struggle with mobility. You don't have full range of motion with certain movements. The surgeries after surgeries, there's a lot of scar tissue there. There's a lot of weakness. Why did you stick with the boot camp? Why did you stick with Lead the Way? What about this place made you trust enough or see enough that you know that you would be able to be successful here?
I think it's the encouragement. I like to see, like, I get a good feeling when, like, oh, I can do that. Sometimes I think I can't do it, but then I'm like, oh, I amaze myself. I can do it, you know. And my thing is, like, if I can do it, you can do it. With all my ailments, all my pain. I mean, I can't say like I haven't been in pain, but I'm in pain constantly every day. And I just keep that in my mind. I'm going to do better. I can get better. Things are going to get better, and just keep pushing myself and keep going forward, you know. And there's days where I don't like, I'm like, oh, I can't get through this. But then like everybody's like, good job, or you did it. You come on, you know, all the encouragement that everybody gives, it just keeps me going.
You made a good amount of friends here.
Yes.
In your life and your experiences with, you know, you've been doing Zumba for so long, you were at another boot camp, you've been here with us for a while, now you work with me in my semi-private group. What is your experience with exercise, and how beneficial is it for people with disabilities or physical disabilities or limitations? What would you say is the number one benefit from that?
You're healthy. You're not letting your illness control you or get the best of you. I feel like it's made me stronger and be able to live here longer than what the doctors had told me. Because there was one doctor that told me, you're going to end up in a wheelchair. And I was like, I'm not going to let that happen. I'm not going to be in a wheelchair.
Good for you.
You know,
good for you.
You know, every mobile device they have given me, I'm like, no, I'm not gonna be confined to a walker or a crutch or anything like that. I'm just, you know, I'm gonna do what I want to do. I want to work out. I want to dance. I want to hike. I mean, I'm able to do all those things.
That's awesome. I love it. And you definitely hike and dance, and you're mobile, moving around. You're fighting a good fight. So yeah. What type of results have you seen now training here with Lead the Way? What have you seen in your life? I know you've touched on them, but what are some things? What would you say is your biggest win?
My biggest win is that I'm stronger. I have also deal with chronic fatigue, and the fatigue has gone away because of that. And you know, like the doctor said before, I was pre-diabetic, which is not showing up anymore.
Nice.
And you know, my blood pressure has gotten better. You know, and I mean, just there's a lot of things that this workout has. I mean, I see muscles that I've never seen before. You know.
How many days a week do you come, Lori?
5 days a week.
Okay, and then that's awesome. How much sleep do you get a night?
I get about 8 hours sleep.
Good for you. That's what I'm talking about. Now, how would you say you're battling with your nutrition? How well are you doing there?
I'm doing good. I mean, you know, we all have our bad days, and then we do really good. So it's been like that.
Good.
I mean, I've been constantly dieting. Well, not dieting, but eating healthier, eating better since it's about 7 years now. So at my highest, I was 350 pounds. So as long as I say I never get there, I'm fine.
That's awesome. Working with me and nutrition, how has that been? Because I know that we've talked about that. We've talked about that long-term dieting mindset and really try to work on changing the focus. And I love how you said dieting, and you immediately like, no, eating healthy or just being healthier, more mindful of it. Like trying to change that mindset of changing it from constant dieting to just feeding and nourishing your body. Now, can you tell them a little bit about what that's like working with me doing that?
You know, there's a lot of good tips, and I started looking at recipes and adding different things. And like the other night I saw a recipe for quinoa enchiladas, which is quinoa, beans, poblano peppers, and I made them, and instead of the sauce, there was cilantro sauce instead of regular red tomato sauce or whatever you use for enchiladas. And that, I mean, things like that, you know, always looking for something different or outside of the box, not like, oh, you know, chicken, it's boring, you know, things like that kind of get boring. So
yeah, I can't eat chicken every day.
No.
I cannot do that.
Yeah.
Lori,
Mhm.
what would you recommend to people who are in a very similar predicament as yourself, like people who have RA, people who have limitations, people who have doctors telling them if you don't do something, this will happen. What would you
Mhm.
recommend? Like what would you recommend to them to get their life to turn around?
Well, I always tell them like try 10 minutes of something. There's always a modification. You don't have, some people like I can't get out of bed, or you can lay in your bed. You can do leg exercises. You can do crunches. There's always a way. If you can't, pool, bed, you can't get on the floor. There's all kinds of ways to exercise. You don't have to like per se join a gym, but it helps you be motivated if you have the support, that to do things, you know I've started this, what I think is right when last year with the pandemic, and they had these virtual runs. I got my girlfriends to all go with me on these virtual runs, and they always say, oh, you're one that motivates us, you're the one that gets us to exercise.
Yeah.
So, little things like that, walking, even when I had to recover for surgery, I still exercise, I still walk, I did what I could do, even with the whole one-legged sprint on my leg, I was still walking around like Frankenstein, but I still did it.
If you're the motivator, what motivates you, Lori? Why are you so passionate and driven about this thing?
Because I want to enjoy my life. I don't want to be like how I was before. I was miserable. I would miss out on fun events. I would make excuses, because I was embarrassed about how I looked. I didn't want my friends to see me at 350 pounds or go places like that. I would say, I would always hide and say, oh, it's because I'm sick. I'm not feeling well, which wasn't true. I want to do whatever I can do. I set a goal to be a Zumba instructor, and I got 2 certificates. I always loved to go hiking all the time. I would go hiking by myself. I'm like, oh, I can hike, I can run, I can, do all these things with all the pain that I have, that I can still do stuff and just like kind of like push that away
Mm-hmm.
and do things that I want to be proud of.
Well, I'm proud of you, Lori. You
Thank
definitely have been doing so many different things here. And Lori, again, she does boot camp 4 days a week. And on that 5th day, she comes joins me in a semi-private. And again, we work a lot on her ability, mobility, strengthening her muscles, and just finding those movements that really help her use her body properly, so she doesn't continue to damage, but actually strengthens her knees, strengthens her wrists and her arms. It's easy for me to see why she's so motivated. She's a headstrong woman. I promise you, you put something in front of her, she's going to get it done. And so, Lori, I've been blessed to be able to work with you. We got to keep doing this. You're a light of the group. And so I'm proud of you. I hope you know that.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. So what's next, Lori? Now that you've done so much, I know you're still on your path, you're still on your journey. What are you looking like? If you were to say, I want this in 3 months, and then, it's July right now. So what do you want by the end of the year? What do you want in the next 3 months along this fitness path?
I still want to lose some more weight. That's one.
Yeah.
But I want to see how much more I can do besides what I'm doing now.
What do you mean by that?
By weight size, other things that I wanted, other things that I kind of find hard to do. Instead of saying I'm going to modify it, let's see if I can do it.
That's what I love to hear, Lori. I'm right there with you. I got your back.
Yes.
Definitely work on it. Okay, well, Lori, one last thing. Why would you recommend Lead the Way to anybody, and what recommendation would you give them about us?
The recommendation I give is if you care about your health, this is something that you want to do, and these people will help you get where you want to get to. There is a lot of support. There's a lot of motivation, and you just got to go for what you want to do. You want to be healthy. That's the whole thing, is be healthy and live life.
Yeah, to the fullest.
To the fullest. Yes.
To the fullest. Lori, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you taking some time out of your day. I see you're in your car, so you're probably running some errands or something.
Yeah.
Thank you for making that space for me. I really appreciate you. Good job today. Good job rocking and rolling. We had a lot of fun this morning. Have a great weekend. And to everybody out there, leadthewayfit.com, or you could find Lead the Way on any social platform, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all of those places. So you go and find out information, DM us. We will be here for you. Especially if you're in Southern California, come check us out at any one of our 2 locations in Rancho and here in Monrovia. And hey, we're going to keep doing it. Lead the way. Lori, thank you again. Have a great weekend.